Have you ever felt like you wandered too far to come back? Like you made a choice that put a wall between you and the love you once knew? Maybe you carry a quiet question: would I even be welcomed home? Today, Jesus answers that question with a story. It's one of the most tender parables he ever told. We call it the prodigal son, but it might just as easily be called the father who ran. There was a man who had two sons and a home full of warmth and plenty, but the younger son grew restless. He wanted his freedom, and he wanted it now. So he said, "Father, give me my share of the inheritance now." In that culture, it was like saying, "I wish you were gone." And the father, with a heart we can hardly understand, gave it to him. Love does not force itself to stay. A few days later, the son packed everything and set off for a distant country, far from his father's gaze. At first, it felt like everything he ever wanted: friends, feasts, freedom without end. He spent and spent, chasing every pleasure. He never imagined the bottom could fall out. But the money ran out, and just then, a great famine swept across the land. Suddenly, the friends were gone. He was hungry, alone, and afraid. Desperate, he took the lowest job he could find, feeding pigs in a stranger's field. He grew so hungry he longed to eat the pods the pigs were eating. Yet, no one gave him anything. And then in the mud and the silence, something shifted. He came to his senses. How many of my father's servants have bread to spare? He thought. And here I am dying of hunger. I will rise and go to my father and say, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. So he stood up, turned around, and began the long walk home with nothing but a fragile hope. Now here is where the story turns from sad to staggering. Watch the father. While the son was still a long way off, his father saw him. Which means the father had been watching, waiting, every single day. And the father was filled with compassion. He didn't fold his arms. He didn't wait for an apology. He ran. A dignified father in that day never ran. But this one lifted his robe and sprinted to his child. He threw his arms around his son and kissed him, dust and shame and all. The son began his rehearsed speech. "Father, I have sinned, I am not worthy." But the father interrupted with joy. He wasn't interested in punishment. He was overcome with relief. "Quick," he called to the servants, "bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Not the clothes of a servant, but of a beloved son. Let us celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." Now the older brother was out in the field. When he heard the music, he wouldn't go in. "I've served you all these years," he protested, "and you never threw a feast for me." And the father said tenderly, "My son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate, for your brother was lost and is found." The father's heart had room for both sons. Here's the wonder of it. That father is God. And you, my friend, are the one he's watching for. You don't have to clean yourself up first. You don't have to finish the speech. He runs the moment you turn toward home. In the Sacrament of Reconciliation, that embrace becomes real. Grace is always waiting at the door. So whatever distance you feel today, take one small step home. Heaven is already running toward you. If this touched your heart, subscribe, like, and share it with someone who needs to come home today. God bless you.